winter. So here were these new people who were not used to living off the land. They were city folks going to live out in the Everglades. Could you imagine being told, Horace, go build a house in the Everglades right now and live off the land? There's no stores, nothing to you have to cut down the trees, build your own home, and get your own food. You cannot buy anything. And you can only take what you can carry in. Not drive in, but carry it on foot. How well do you think that's going to go? Do you think you could go live out in the Everglades and survive? Oh, guess what? Many people died that first winter. Finally, when spring came, their neighbors, the Native Americans, helped them learn how to plant crops in the New World, in America. Now, keep in mind, did they have a lot of animals to do the work? Did they have tractors? No. They had to do a lot of this by hand. They had to do a lot of this by hand. Okay? And with that, and these were city. Do you know how to garden? No. Do you think a lot of people in the city know how to garden? Very few. They had to learn from the Native Americans how to plant things. They probably even got the seeds that grew here. Not what they brought over, but grew here. Because what they brought over to plant, they probably ate. And then they had such a big harvest. They had a 3-day party. They had a 3-day party. They were so thankful to God that they survived and they had food again. So they had a 3-day party. Now, that's not the end of Thanksgiving. That was the first Thanksgiving. I want you to read about when it became a national holiday. Read that and tell me what it says, what you understand. Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. Now, do you know what the Civil War was? What was important about the Civil War? And this is your history, my friend. Okay? The whole thing, what happened was a lot of the African descendants, your forefathers, were brought over to the United States as slaves from Africa. to work on plantations doing the manual labor for the big farms. They didn't have any rights. They were bought and sold like cattle. They actually had markets where they sold people. Would you like to be told where you're going to live, who you're going to live with, and what you're going to do? And be beaten if you don't comply? And even killed? Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't just white people who owned black people. Black people owned black people too. Now, there was the southern states, and Florida was part of those states. That there was a conflict between the North and the South. They disagreed about the slavery. And so the South said, we're tired of being part of the United States. We're leaving the United States so that we do not have to give up our slaves. President Abraham Lincoln was president at the time. And he said, no, you're not. And so the North states and the South states fought. The South lost. Abraham Lincoln said that the black people were free. They were no longer slaves. So that they could go where they want and live where they want. Okay? Some of those people chose to stay with, quote, their masters, because not everybody who owned slaves were bad to those. Just some people were bad to, just like now. Some people are bad to other people, aren't they? Are there bad bosses? Yeah. Yeah. Are there bad teachers? Yes. Are there good teachers? Yes. So if there are bad people, there are also what? Good people. So there were people who owned slaves that were, quote, good masters. They didn't treat the slaves like slaves. They treated them more like, they treated them like people. So those people chose to help stay with those families that they knew their whole lives. Others decided to go elsewhere. That's why I'm saying it was your history. It's not just my history, it's your history too. Okay. Now we're going to go look at the issues with Thanksgiving. What are some of the issues? Controversy is an issue that people can disagree on. Tell me about that. Now, question, real quick. How did the Europeans treat Native Americans? Good or bad? How did a lot of the Europeans treat Native Americans? Good or bad? It was pretty bad. There is called the Trail of Tears, where Europeans gathered a whole bunch of Native Americans and marched them in the wintertime to Oklahoma. Made them march through winter. They didn't have shelter. They didn't have very good clothing. So what do you think happened to a lot of those Native Americans? Walking through cold, it would be like walking through the freezer. Could you imagine walking through a freezer? with no food and hardly any clothes. People were having to do. They didn't get a chance to even hardly take any food with them. So a lot of them did what? Did they live or did a lot of them die? Yep. Yep. So a lot of the Europeans treated Native Americans and Black people what? Bad. Did everybody treat everybody bad? No. There were some people who agreed with other people. Yes. They treated them like people. But there's always bad people. There's always good and bad people. In every culture. There's always good and bad. In every culture. Okay? But one of the things about Thanksgiving, it was talking about how marked when Europeans really started settling North America and started pushing out the Native Americans and even killing them. So Thanksgiving has its good and bad. Now, remember, whose family came on the Mayflower? Who? Who? My first family that came to the New World, to North America, came on the Mayflower. The Mayflower Compact was the first document that created a government in the New World, in America. In fact, this Mayflower Compact was the basis of the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. Okay? But did it stop here? Was it a national holiday? Or was it Abraham Lincoln did it? This is your history too. Because Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Okay, so here is our history. Okay, you ready? Okay, so one. Pilgrims came on the Mayflower. Okay? Okay? Copy that, my friend. What word are you on, Horace? Are you done? Okay. Do. Well, you need to be copying this. Tell me when you're done with that, my friend. Okay. So what do you think you're going? So what do you think homework is going to be? What is homework going to be? Do you think? Okay. Have I given you the information to write the paragraph on? Yes, I have. Tell me when you've copied down what homework is going to be. Okay. Now I'm going back up here. And I'm going to underline what it's about. Basically, the pilgrims. Hold on. Pilgrims. I wrote came. It should become, okay? Let me change that real quick. Pilgrims came, okay? Pilgrims came for religious freedom. Okay? And remember, we're looking at the history. So there you go. There's something you can think about, okay? And then you have President Lincoln made it a national holiday. Slavery illegal. Okay. I think that might be part of something that I would consider important. Okay. And then about Europeans abusing Native Americans. There are your three supports already, aren't there? And there's your three supports, my friend. Okay. You have your three supports. Do you have to go looking for anything? No. What could be your topic sentence? What? Thanksgiving is just a day? Or is there a history to Thanksgiving? There's a history to Thanksgiving. And you have three supports about the history of Thanksgiving. So is the Thanksgiving Day just about the pilgrims? Is it just about? No. Okay. There's my history, there's your history, and there's even the Native Americans' history. I have friends who are Native Americans. Do you think they celebrate Thanksgiving? No, they do not. They want absolutely nothing to do with Thanksgiving. Okay. Because they didn't like what happened after that. Okay. So, when am I going to see you again? Monday. Hold on just a second. I never got your homework, my friend. Okay. Now, what is your homework, my friend? What is your homework? Right. What about? What about? I wanting you to write about the food and what you're going to do on Thanksgiving? No. So what am I looking for in this paragraph? I'm looking for the history of Thanksgiving. Okay. I'm looking for the history of Thanksgiving. Okay. And I'm going to actually let you go a little early today. Again, do you have to go researching the information for this paragraph, or is it already there? It's already there. Do you need to know how to write a paragraph, or have you already learned that? Yeah, you've already learned that. So am I asking you to do anything new? No. Am I trying to expand your knowledge about Thanksgiving? Yeah, because knowing the story about things like the history of Thanksgiving is part of being responsible, because I want you to know why people are having the day off. Okay? And next week, I'm going to have you do something special with Thanksgiving. Okay, my friend? Blessings. Any questions before I let you go? Any questions? You tell me. Do you have your phone? Okay, what? How many stars, my friend? You could have gotten 8, but I didn't get homework. So blessings.